Has one of your large customers or your investors or bankers or other partners or even employees asked if your company has an ESG plan? Well, this video may help you. It's how to build an effective environmental social governance or sustainability game plan for your business. So if you have a couple minutes, we're going to cover some key topics. You can ask me questions at the end of the video, and I'm looking forward to explaining this. Let's go. So my name is Lindsay Hampson. I'm the president of ThisRock Inc. It's a sustainability consulting firm in North America. We've helped dozens of businesses figure out sustainability certifications like EcoVadis over the last few years. All right, turning back to you. So might your company need a strong ESG strategy? Remember, ESG stands for environmental social governance. People are starting to call this sustainability. So why would you need this kind of game plan or strategy? Number one, stakeholder trust. Large companies like Kellogg's, Nestlé, General Motors are asking their supply chain to figure out ESG or sustainability because it's building trust and it's helping them with their numbers. Number two is risk mitigation and compliance. So if you're not thinking about the physical or regulatory risks of climate change or social injustice, then you may be behind the times, or you may skip over something in the future that might be costly. Also, we know our friends over in Europe have already rolled out some regulatory requirements, and we think they're on their way over here to North America. And number three is companies without a robust strategy risk falling behind the competitive market. So I do see this. If companies I'm working with don't have a sustainability strategy already and an RFP comes in, their competitors may already have it and win a new bid. So how do we typically do sustainability or ESG planning? Well, our company, ThisRock, does 3 steps. Number one is review and assessment. So what policies, what data collection, what initiatives do you already have today, and what are you missing? 2 is strategy and implementation. So we can't do 100 things. What are the 7 things we're going to do this year? Like writing a new policy, like training our staff on climate and energy reduction, for example. How do we roll those out? And step 3 is communication and tracking, getting that data somewhere so we can grab it up every month or every year. And we want to communicate or train our people and tell our stakeholders, internal and external, all about our current and future game plan. So areas that you should review of your business, you can have someone help you with. Number one is kind of the no-brainer. It's the environment. So are you just paying energy bills, water bills, waste bills, or are you actually tracking where you are this year and where you want to be next year? So that's kind of the difference between just running a business normally or actually paying attention to some of the details in environment. The next is labor and human rights. So this actually is some of the stuff you're probably already doing, like health and safety, some diversity, community engagement, making sure people are paid fairly, they have good benefits, etc. Then ethics is the next section. So do you train your people on corruption? Do you make sure there's like anti-bribery going on? What about IT data? Are you doing a risk assessment to make sure that your company is not opening up a phishing email and causing disruption to your data? And number 4 is procurement. So what about your suppliers? Are you doing any analysis to make sure your own vendors care about a couple of these things like energy consumption, greenhouse gas emissions, and so on? So those are the 4 key areas of ESG. So your game plan is not complete without a materiality assessment and gap analysis. Super fancy words. Really what they mean is, what are the material sustainability issues to a business like yours? So we can consider size of your company, location, and industry. So a materiality assessment would identify what matters most to your business and its stakeholders. So if I don't create a product, it's probably important for me to know my energy consumption, but it's super important for a manufacturing company who uses tons of energy a year, right? Maybe they could get more efficient. So that's where I'm going with this. If you have 0 staff, then probably the labor and human rights isn't that big of a deal for your company. So see what I mean? Like, what issues are material to your business? There's different charts you can create, like impact versus impact on the business, impact to stakeholders, impact on the business. And people can chart the options of projects in sustainability and ESG based on these criteria. The second thing that people do is a gap analysis. So, what do you have and what were you missing? So, what policies did you have? What data weren't you collecting? Is it super difficult to go get that data and no value? Then don't do it. If it's extremely valuable to have greenhouse gas emissions, scope 1 and 2, and it's medium difficulty, you should totally go do that. So, this is the type of analysis you do in that kind of step 1 of your game plan strategy for ESG. People will also align ESG plans with global standards. So it's not as fluffy as it used to be many years ago. Sustainability has some charts and spreadsheets to fill out. So there's a couple of initiatives. So one is called GRI, it's the Global Reporting Initiative. The one that I have my certification in is SASB, the Sustainable Accounting Standards Boards. This seems like one of the winners in the future. There's also the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. There are 17 of them. There's the Task Force on Climate-Related Financial Disclosure being rolled up into the ISSB, the International Sustainability Standards Boards. You can tell there's a lot of acronyms in this. But really what I wanted to show you was rather than just take your data and throw it in a spreadsheet and title it, our energy consumption for this year, maybe, grab hold of one of the frameworks for the things that we're looking at, GRI, SASB, et cetera, and put your data in a format that other people might recognize. It's a smart way to start. So tip number 1 is set realistic goals. Focus on measurable and achievable objectives. So maybe your goal is, this year we can't calculate scope 3 emissions. It's a can of worms, but we can do scope 1 and 2 for our 3 locations. That would be a win. 2 is establish baselines. Baselines are just pick a year in the past, it could be last year, and get data for last year, and that will act as your baseline. So you would have energy baseline, water baseline, waste baseline, employee wage baseline. You'd have all these numbers in a graph as baseline, and then you could go and set targets for reduction in the future. And number 3 is stakeholder engagement. Fancy word to say, like tell people, communicate, talk to your employees, train your employees, tell your partners, ask your large customers if there's anything else they need. And it's kind of fun to train employees because you get to explain what sustainability is. What is this greenhouse gas thing? What is a carbon footprint? And then you can actually say, hey, we did it for our company for last year. We know what our baseline is. It's kind of cool. And now in the coming years, we're going to figure out a couple ways to reduce our footprint. We're also asking our suppliers for their footprint. Like those are the kind of things you would train people on. Number 2 is create some reports. Be super transparent about reporting. It doesn't mean you have to tell the whole world every single name of your supplier and give away your secret sauce details, but it would be interesting for you to share some data points, some projects externally on your website and with employees internally. It would be important to show your progress. And number 3 is ongoing support. So this isn't like a one and done thing. This is something that will be continuous forever. I hope this video was helpful. It was all about how to build an effective ESG game plan or strategy at your company. If you ever have any questions, feel free to reach out. I'm a real person. I'm at thisrockesg.com. Or if you ever have any ideas, you can throw them in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching. I hope this video was helpful and have a great week. See you later.